Welcome to Childcare Rockstar Radio. I am your host, Kris Murray. Childcare leaders around the globe are breaking through challenges, leading the way in innovation, testing new best practices, and impacting children and families in a much more powerful and positive way than ever before. Each week, join me for interviews with early childhood leaders and experts that will leave you inspired to become the next childcare rockstar. Now, let's go. This is episode 116, featuring Isobel Wheatcroft. Welcome back to Childcare Rockstar Radio, everybody. It's Kris Murray, your host, and Happy New Year. We are into 2022. This is the very first podcast episode of 2022, and I want to welcome you with open arms and an open heart, and congratulations for being here with me for the next 45 minutes or so. This is something that if you regularly plug into this podcast and to me, you will have increased success and happiness in your life. I guarantee it. And so thanks for being here with me and taking the time to do something for you as well. This podcast is featuring a topic we don't spend a lot of time talking about, and it's a very important topic, which is branding. So the title of our podcast is What Makes a Great Preschool Brand? And there's no other expert that I could bring to you that would be smarter or more savvy on this topic than Isobel. You're going to meet Isobel in this episode. She is the creative director at Grow Your Center, which is our sister company, helping many of you with brand new, beautiful websites, best in class, and social media marketing, as well as lead generation marketing via Google and elsewhere. So we also have a recruitment arm of Grow Your Center now as well, so we can help you with your hiring. But this isn't about all of that. This is about branding, and this is about you and what you can learn from this episode, which is quite a lot. We dive into all the elements of great design and what makes a great preschool brand. What should you do with your logo to best represent your brand? What about in-center? Are you doing brand extensions for design inside of your school that can extend your brand into the culture of your school, inside of your doors and throughout your classrooms? So there's a lot to this topic, and I'm very excited to dive in with Isobel today and have you meet this incredible lady. She's also a mom of young kids. Isobel has a 3-year-old son, and she is due with her second child any minute. By the time this episode releases, she may have already had her second baby. And she is a former yoga studio owner and entrepreneur in her own right. So she understands small business. She understands what it means to be a mom to preschool-aged children rather, and infants. And she's super, super smart. So I know you're going to love meeting her. And we have quite a dynamic conversation in this episode. So we are into the pre-promotion phase of our latest challenge, which is called Expand Your Empire, the Expand Your Empire Challenge. And in just 5 days during this challenge, we're going to show you how to double your business revenue from really no plan to having a roadmap and a plan for how to double or triple your business revenue and income during this challenge. Expand your empire. And so if you want to learn more about how to register for this free challenge, just go to childcaresuccess.com, and there will be a huge banner graphic with the challenge information at the top of that page, and just click on it and you'll go right in and get signed up for our free challenge. You have to sign up, you must register, and all of the challenge components and the training sessions are taking place in a private Facebook group, as always. So you must engage with us, go into the group and join the group. It's a private group, and then we'll let you in and you can experience the incredible content that we're going to be sharing over the 5 days during this challenge, starting on January 24th and running all the way through the following Monday. We have some amazing prizes, and the grand prize fits perfectly into today's podcast because it's a brand new, beautiful website, courtesy of growyourcenter.com. And that website will be our deluxe, no holds barred, gorgeous, gorgeous, state-of-the-art version for you, the winner of the grand prize. And it's a $20,000 value, guys. So that and many, many other prizes will be given away during this challenge, and a ton of incredible content, a free workbook, exercises and lessons, and you get to meet myself and the coaches and work with us directly for free. So pop on over to childcaresuccess.com and join the challenge and expand your empire here in 2022. All right, let's dive in and meet Isobel here on the podcast at episode 116. I can't wait for you to meet her. I am busy working on my business and being a mom to my teens and hanging out with my boo, Charlie, and taking a little bit of a break to do some travel to California and relax in Palm Springs for a few days. And then I'll be headed to Fort Lauderdale for our first quarterly Academy meeting, which happens in the first week of February in Fort Lauderdale, February 3rd through the 5th. So if you're interested and you've been sitting on the sideline thinking about coaching with me and us and joining the Child Care Success Academy and all of our 300 members plus, you want to definitely go to childcaresuccess.com and book a coaching call and learn more about it and come on in and get some free coaching. And we can't wait to meet you and work with you. And you can then expense a trip through your business to Fort Lauderdale. And we're going to be on the beach, and come and be with us for 3 incredible days of masterminding in early February. All right, that is all I have to share at the moment. So I will look forward to seeing you on the challenge. And I hope that you love, love, love this episode here of the podcast, talking about what makes a great preschool brand. Let's go. Welcome back to the podcast. I am thrilled today to introduce you to a good friend of mine and somebody that I work with on a regular basis and have for several years, Miss Isobel Wheatcroft. Isobel, how are you?
Fantastic. Thank you for having me today. I'm really stoked to chat with you.
Yay.
As usual.
I'm stoked as well. And where are you right now?
I'm in snowy Ottawa, Canada. Second coldest capital in the world. A little bit north of most of you guys. So feel free to send the invitations to warmer climates.
Yes, I will do that. I was just about to ask you if you enjoy being in a chilly climate. And I'm assuming you're a native Canadian, but do you have any dreams of moving to a beach someday?
So I was born and raised in Europe, in Wales, and came here early on. And I love, you know what I love? Being in Canada makes you hardy.
Yeah.
Like it just makes you hardy. Like other places in the world, you know, they'll stop traffic. They'll have snow days. I'm like, that's not a snow day.
Right.
Unless the snowbanks are reaching your eyeballs. It's not a snow day.
Exactly. Yeah, I have the same thing in the mountains of Colorado here. We have very few snow days, and the ones that we have are epic. And definitely not the same as like Atlanta, Georgia, where if they get like a little tiny speck or a dusting, they have a snow day. So yeah, it's different. Good.
It is different.
It's good. So tell us a little bit about Isobel. What are you working on? Tell us what you do and how you impact the childcare field.
Sure. Okay. I'm the creative director for GYC, and I'm essentially a behind the scenes extension of our client's brand. So everything I touch, everything from our websites, social media posts, design, copywriting, everything comes through me. And I'm an extension of your primary aim, which is really for folks to support parents and elevate children.
Nice. And so for folks that don't know, GYC stands for Grow Your Center. And that is a digital marketing agency and creative firm that was founded by myself and Bruce Spur. And Isobel has been with us one of the longest, if not the longest, on the team. How long have you been working over at GYC?
Going on 3 years now.
Okay. The topic today in our podcast is branding. And this is a topic that we haven't really dove into in the past, Isobel. So I'm really excited to talk to you about this today. It's a important topic because I don't think a lot of small businesses, Main Street businesses, have experience and knowledge about what makes a good brand. And so, especially with relative to the childcare field, I can't wait to dig into this topic with you today. So thanks for being here.
Yeah, my pleasure.
What are some highlights of your professional journey and some memorable accomplishments?
So do you want within the scope of the GYC or like the broader strokes?
No, broader, like,
oh, God.
your life journey, just a few things.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Jeepers. I've done everything. I started working at 11 years old selling strawberries. And
I love that.
I've done everything from selling luxury jewelry to shoes. So I've always been in service. I love people. So definitely one of my highlights would be opening and closing my own business. So I was an entrepreneur for many years. The closing was a bit like a breakup.
And what kind of business was that?
So I ran a Pilates yoga and movement studio for several years. So that was really here in Ottawa, an old Edwardian home converted into a studio where we had a really tight-knit community, primarily of women. And so that was really fantastic based on fitness and wellness. And I started writing for Bruce, actually. He asked me to write. His wife suggested that I come on board to write websites because I would write her the most heartfelt emails. And then, our professional relationship grew, Bruce and I. So definitely coming on board for Grow Your Center was huge for me. It's backed by a 20-year friendship. So it's been really, really, really cool to develop the entire, the business, the structure, what works. That's been a trip. I remember telling you, actually, I want to get on this fast moving train, and I did not know what I was asking for at the time.
Be careful of what you ask
for.
Exactly. Yeah. So the growth over at GYC has been exponential. So Isobel, when you came on with us, and I remember talking to you and kind of interviewing you, even though it wasn't really an interview, it was more just like a chit chat. Yeah. I think there were like 3 or 4 of us total. And now how many people are on the team? We've got also different like helpers. We've got Filipino helpers and contractors and so many people, but how many people are on the team roughly?
We've got talent all over the world. It's amazing. At last count, somewhere between 26 and 35. I'm sorry, I don't know the exact number, but it's probably changed in the last week. So
it's probably changed since we started the podcast.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Likely has, actually.
Cool. So tell us a little bit about your home life. What's going on at home? What do you enjoy doing? Do you have kids?
Yeah, thanks. That's so sweet of you to ask about that. I live in what I like to call a marketing household. My hubby, for many, many years, he was in multi-level marketing, but very, very successful in multi-level marketing. So I like to say we don't have disagreements. We just try to convince each other of our points. We just basically try to sell each other all the time on our points. We have a beautiful son. He's 3 years old now, which the light of my life, and expecting a baby girl in just a few weeks.
That's so exciting. Congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm. And you're, the way that your kids, the genders and ages is the same as mine. So I had a son to start, and then 3 years later, just not quite 3 years later. For me, it was Maeve was born and had a baby daughter. So that's really, really fun. And one of my best memories is I think Maeve was 2 and Owen was 5. And I can still visualize them coming down the stairs on Christmas morning, and he was holding her hand and helping her come down the stairs, and they had their onesies on, their Christmas onesies.
Aw,
So
come on.
it's a great memory. I know. I don't actually have a physical picture of it. Well, I might
Don't need
somewhere,
it.
but it's in my,
Yeah.
I don't need it because
I
it's
was
right
gonna
there.
say you don't need it.
Yeah, it's good. It's really, really good. So I
Aw.
wish that for you, and I'm sure you're going to have some amazing
Aw,
memories like that as a mom.
thank you.
You're welcome. So share a fun fact, if you will, something about you that hardly anyone knows.
I don't know. Fun fact. Geez. Okay. I was trained in classical ballet. So pretty pretty seriously. So I like to think a lot of my diligence comes from my ballet background.
Uh-huh.
I'm a painter also, so I studied fine arts. So I guess it's not a secret, but I guess I could say I'm a creative through and through.
Yeah.
It's not a secret to anyone, but
That's fantastic. I think the creative energy is amazing. And having you even mention about writing put into me that I wanted to get back to my pen and get back to writing, because I've written several books, but I think I definitely have another one in me. And so I want to dive back into the creative process. It's been a while. I mean, certainly this podcast has given me the outlet to create audially, and it's been amazing. But creation, like the art or the act of creating, is such a cool thing.
yeah, and you have so much in you. I'm sure of it. Definitely got another book in you, if not 2.
You heard it here first, y'all.
I know.
Cool. Well, let's dive into the world of branding.
Yeah.
What are some best practices that you look for when it comes to assessing or approving the branding of our clients at Grow Your Center?
Oh, I love this question. I love this question because essentially obviously for childcare centers, it's building a relationship of trust with your audience. It's all about trust. And we talk about it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But it's so funny how that might translate. I see my clients all the time say, okay, well, our main marketing message is that parents can trust us. So they might go with something along the lines of, you can trust us. But when's the last time you've actually trusted someone who says, trust me?
Right.
So the number one thing is, what is your main marketing message? What's the main marketing message? What are you wanting to get across to parents? And then you have to look at that from the angle of your audience. You don't want to come at it from your own perspective. So it's a little bit like a date. What do you want the other person to know about you on a first date?
Mm-hmm.
You do not want to necessarily say it all or what have you. So definitely identifying your main marketing message. That's number one. So for example, if it's something along the lines of parents can trust us, then you want to talk about your longevity, your reputation. We've been voted best in the region 7 times. Wow, that builds, that level of trust. Mm-hmm. Determining your unique selling proposition. So the main marketing message is the big message. And then really, what are your key differentiators? And I see this all the time, that folks may not know what those are. Mm-hmm. From the perspective of their audience. You say, well, we use this curriculum, that, blah, blah, blah. You know what you and your teachers do well, but do you know what your parents know you for?
Right.
So that's really huge. And the last piece, so other than the main marketing message, then the trickle down into your unique selling propositions, just keep it simple. Kiss. Keep it simple, sweetheart. Keep it simple. Don't rhyme off 17, 18, 19 different thoughts.
Yeah.
People stick to 1 or 2 and they'll love you for it.
Mm-hmm.
they'll love you for it.
So you're bringing back one of the things that I came to the market with originally when I started this business, which was helping people identify and streamline and simplify their main marketing message and their key selling points, the key differentiators, because they struggled so mightily with figuring that out. And so I have heard from clients that we have in common that Isobel's process for helping people dive into discovery of this is amazing. And people just love working with you on kind of your discovery call. And I don't even know, you're probably not even really doing those anymore because we're starting to change all of our processes at GYC and grow the team so that we can scale. But when you were running these discovery calls for people when they were first going to craft their brand new website and dive into their brand essence, they were like, oh my God, she's so amazing at helping cut through all the noise of all the things in my head about my marketing message and really streamline and find those nuggets. So talk a little bit about that. I don't know if you're still doing that, but when you were, talk about how you come to that process.
Yeah, I am still doing it. I'm admittedly working heavier on the design side now. So consulting for design. There's a lot obviously that goes into branding. So when we're talking about main marketing message, we're talking a little bit more about the words or the language that you use, but there's also the design side. So we can get to that in a moment. But the process, as our team runs it now, is amazing. We have a list of questions that clearly identify some of the things that parents look for that we know we're going to want to include. So what you do and what you don't do, and then we want to identify what you do well. So let's say what you do, what you don't do. Do you have cameras in your classrooms? Do you allow technology? Is food included in tuition? It might not seem like something that you want to mention, but depending on your market, it might be important to let parents know that, there's the convenience of having food included.
Yes.
Or for different markets, maybe they care a little bit more about organic food or what have you, or the health of the menu. So those are just kind of the mini details. We want to nail those down first. And then we go through the process of interviewing you to find out what matters to you. And most importantly, does that matter to the parents in your area? So you're naturally going to meet the demands of the people around you. You're naturally going to meet the demands of the families in your care. If they need flexible hours or a Saturday a month or whatever that it is, you're naturally going to want to craft the business to match their needs. It makes business sense. So if we can use language and design that proves from the get-go that you're ready and willing to do that, they've already found you. They don't even have to meet you. They've seen you on social media. They've seen you, your website. You've made that first impression. So we liken it a little bit to getting dolled up to go out. You want to make a great impression. You want to wear something nice. You maybe want to style your hair. Power pose. That's what I like to do before an event. Yeah. Really. But so in order to get there, what I like in what we do is we're a little bit like a consultant or a stylist, someone who can bring you, well, this is what would really look good on you, right? This is what would really suit you. This is what suits you. And this is what's appropriate or what have you. And so it's just tailoring the wording, the design to really match you and match your market.
I love this concept of brand stylist. In fact, I think that you should change your title to brand stylist.
Yes, so do I. That's actually really catchy.
It really is. It's amazing. And no one that I know of is bringing this notion of styling your brand into the childcare industry in a sophisticated way. I see so many childcare websites from our clients, and I can immediately tell when they've worked with GYC. Of course, we have a specific look and
Yep.
a process that we
Yeah,
develop,
layout.
a layout.
Yeah.
But it's such a game changing piece of your marketing. And I've been constantly telling clients, like, this is the one thing you have to get right, because for hiring too, we constantly talk about careers pages, and
Right.
so it's not just parents and getting the message right for parents. It's understanding your market essence and your brand essence, and then styling your brand, but also appealing to potential team members, because
Totally.
I keep telling people that you're advertising and you put your stuff on Indeed, but when they come to your website to check you out, which they will,
Yep.
what do they see?
Yep.
And then you wonder why you're not getting any phone calls or applications from applicants, because it's a disconnect, right? So we can talk a little bit about that, the hiring piece, because it is right now, it's the forefront of everybody's mind. But
well, you're also talking a little bit about brand cohesion, right? So once you've nailed it down for your audience, there's kind of a trickle effect. What's really cool is once you've got it, like again, like when you know what looks good on you, then you're going to naturally gravitate towards, purchasing those pieces. So what I mean by that is, once you've established your brand, then you're going to know, for example, in your schools, if you're doing a refresh, what color are you going to paint the accent wall? There's ways to bring it into your school so that there's visual appeal for parents who tour. So from website to school, and there's certainly ways to communicate it for recruitment and to your existing staff, more importantly, because it, that encompasses core values as well. So there's definitely a way to bring it all together. And in fact, I'm working with a client right now. She says, I don't really have my core values, but it's something we really want to work on. We've been doing her logo. We've gone with a handprint, super cute, kind of stylized handprint with a little heart, and what have you. So we're working on her core values. We want 5, 1 for each finger. So we're going to pop up, boom, 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 boom. This is things that she can use, right? She can use it for in the school. She can use it for her kids. She can use it for her teachers and for new recruits. It brings the heart. It centers, right? You're centered around your values, and your brand is how you communicate that. So definitely.
So I love that. Are there other examples, client examples, that come to mind when you think about like rebrands that you've done that you just are absolutely in love with, that you were like,
oh my God,
wow,
so many.
Before and after? I know I didn't give you a heads up for this question, because sometimes we go off the outline. But
I know.
I had to ask, because we've done so many amazing before and afters. And I have some that I love, but anything that comes to mind that you were like, or even like that, this had a huge impact on their business too.
Sure. Definitely. Like I'm thinking of, it's different from service to service. Like websites, it's definitely, if parents are looking for more of an academic type establishment, as an example, I'm just thinking of one where they, their market is more academic. So we recraft just the copy, obviously the design as well, but we recraft mainly the copy. And then all of a sudden they're getting tons of leads because we're using different language. Or sometimes it's the inverse. I'm thinking of another client where we had to craft her entire brand surrounding parent convenience, flexibility. She's in a lower income area. And once we start to really nail down, again, her brand in a way that appeals to her target audience, then she was getting, within a week, people are getting more leads, right? So I'm thinking of other like visuals. Oh gosh, beautiful nature school, where, and no hard, no foul, but sometimes we get our logos done, myself as well. I had for my business, I had this, but get our logos done. It's kind of like, oh, you don't put much thought into it. Let's just get something up and running for now. And then 10 years later, you're like, this isn't really working. I don't want a cartoon mushroom anymore. It's not working with my brand. So we'll take those we'll take those logos and we'll recraft them. So I was thinking specifically actually of a logo with a mushroom.
Right.
That we reworked. We kept the
Uh-huh.
mushroom because it was really important to the client. So that was one of them. And I mean, there are just so many, Kris, but I'm thinking of another one recently. Oh yeah. This one's really cute too. It was like this odd little child head, again, thrown together logo. Now we're working with a version. So there's a name Sprout in the name. So we're working with a version where the hair is a little sprout. So we're tying together that visual appeal. But the main thing with like logos that we like to do is reduce them so that they're quite clear and succinct. So simple. Things that folks might not know, but anything circular tends to keep the interest of the eye. So we'll use that as a design element, like have an icon or something that will keep the visual interest, and then a word mark. Oftentimes what we see with folks coming in is that they've tried to cram everything into their logo.
Yeah.
We're like, well, we're reading and we do discovery, and but we also like to be outside. And the next thing you know, you've got like a tree, a kid with a magnifying glass, a child with a book. And I get it, because I want to go there with you. Like, I really want to go there with you, but it ends up being visually confusing.
Yes.
So one of the primary things we do is we want to create what we call cognitive ease. This is getting a bit jargony, but I'm going to go there.
It's okay.
So anytime someone looks at anything really in this busy world, we're either creating cognitive ease or cognitive strain. Is it difficult to understand what's in front of you, or is it easy? This is why the Nike swoosh works. It is a check mark.
Yeah.
Do it. What is it? Just do it. It is a check mark. This is why the simplest logos work best. So although I can't give you like before and after specifically, I'm trying to describe
That's
them.
okay. Yeah, no, this is perfect.
Yeah, what we'll do is we'll take the concept, and we'll simplify it so we get what we call that cognitive ease. We don't want to create any strain, whether it's logo, tagline, social media, messaging we're conveying to, new recruits. It's trickle down. So everything is simplified and aesthetically pleasing. So that's both design, especially for like logo redesign is one of the biggest things that we do. So that it's website friendly, so that it's print friendly. And because obviously it's childcare centric, we oftentimes include like a crest or some kind of circular logo for t-shirts as well.
So I love the cognitive ease. I love the keep it simple. I love that you're looking at making sure that the brand and the logo represent the best components for simplicity of the message that we're trying to convey. And it's a market match. So message to market match is a huge concept that I brought to the industry in 2010, 2009, really. And we're still living and breathing it today. And we're physically, doing the work of changing people's websites and their social media advertising and marketing to reflect the market to message match. So that's all amazing information that you just shared with us. And you really dove into the next question I had, which is what elements make a great brand. I do want to ask you though, two questions. One question is, do we at GYC always work with, is the logo redevelopment part of the process of creating a new website for folks? Is it included, or is it something that people might say, I've been thinking about changing my logo. Will you please do that as well as the website? So is it just a natural part of our process, or is it kind of an add-on?
Yeah, great question. Thanks for clarifying that. If we come across a logo that's not website friendly, we want your site to look really good. So we're going to modify it slightly so that it works for web use. In all honesty, what works for web use works everywhere.
Right.
It's cleaner. It's just better design.
Yeah.
So that's a bit of a plus of working with us. Let's say for website. We do also offer a rebranding package. This is when we've noticed that the logo needs a little bit more work, a little bit more TLC. Perhaps you've been thinking about changing your branding for some time, but it's been on the back burner. So we'll work with you to establish your logo, a simple horizontal logo. Again, great for letterhead, great for web use, a circular one for t-shirts. We'll build a color palette for you. We'll oftentimes help with a tagline as well, so something that goes along with that. This is a bit of a rebrand package. That's an additional service, but it's really, honestly, what I find is really cool is that we can offer it at like an eighth of the cost that it would be elsewhere, because we've already done the marketing research. We don't need to delve deep into what it is that childcare centers do. We know that. We know it like the back of our hands. So what we need to delve into is really the personal relationship part with who are you? What do you want to convey? So oftentimes it's an extension of our other services.
Yep.
But what I really love is that we can incorporate it.
Mm-hmm.
Into
Well,
the
and
other
I think that the rebranding piece, there's a huge need and desire for that. And you and I have talked about, and then extending it to the center design, extending it to actually in center, which you mentioned, the things that are on your walls, that are things that are in your school design, the way that you have your core values communicated, your culture wall, the way, how your staff is integrated to the branding of the school, all of those pieces. So, and I think this is kind of a best kept secret about Grow Your Center, is that we do offer branding support and help. And if people are looking for branding help, then they also should reach out to us, because we can help with that piece. And I don't know if we're going to try to launch more of an intensive, holistic branding service for folks, but I mean, to some degree, it would potentially involve, site visits and that kind of work, which we're not doing, but certainly we could do it remotely for people.
There are simple ways to bring your brand into your environment. I mean, the accent wall was an idea. A lot of people love decals. What I love about establishing a brand palette, for example, is and I know, and again, folks, some folks love to go overboard with like 5 to 8 colors in their palette, and it's great to have that, but you want to determine 2 or 3 that are your primary. Then the others you can use as secondary. Once you've got your 2 or 3, it's almost natural. Like if you have an event or you're doing something in-house, then you look for things of that color. Example, t-shirts, that color. These are things that you guys already know, right? Like you want to you want to keep that brand consistent. But there are tons of ways that you can incorporate it into your school materials as well. So that's where it starts to get really interesting with what you want, how you want to incorporate it. So one of the other things that we do is we brainstorm that for you. You've got creative minds working on your logo, your copy, et cetera. And you've got creative minds who are brainstorming on how you can best promote that within your community.
Right.
Yeah.
Love it.
It is a little bit of the best kept secret of GYC right now.
Well,
it really is.
No longer, because we're telling the story.
Right. Yeah.
So get ready, Bruce, for some calls with some new branding clients and all of those services. I love that. So we've talked about what elements make a great brand. We've given examples about brand remodels and things that we've taken into account with that, and brand styling and sophistication. So relative to, I'm back to you and how you play a part in all of this and where we're headed.
Yep.
What do you feel is your true superpower, and how are you excited about the future to help clients by using that superpower? I know it's a loaded question.
Wow. That's cool. I would say my creativity is a superpower. It's so funny when you're a creative, It's like everyone wants they want your ideas.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've experienced this too. And man, a lot of people, who are listening have experienced this where they want your ideas. And so, and I remember Bruce saying to me early on, when we first launched social media, we first launched our social media service, which is definitely a highlight of my career. I could have mentioned that earlier. We launched our social media service. And I remember him saying, well, there are only so many ideas that really fit for the childcare industry that will be kind of cycling around, right? Like certain concepts or philosophies and I remember just thinking, wow, no, like the possibilities are endless. Like there's so much we can do.
Right.
There's so much we can communicate to our parents and to our, potential recruits as well. So I definitely say that the creativity, intuition. So it's definitely an intuitive process to determine your brand is more intuitive. It's feeling based. Okay. Does that feel right for you? Because that's what's going to that's what sells. That's what sells you. So I would say that's what I bring: the intuition, the creativity, and the feeling based aspect of the work.
So I love that because it takes the branding discussion off of just the page to the heart and to the feeling and the emotion of the person looking at the brand, at the work, at the photos, the images, the copy, the feeling. What feeling does it give you? And we've done almost 200 websites now, and all for the childcare industry, and they're unique to the client and to the market and to their own feeling, their own brand essence. But they all feel, when you read them and you see the images, it gives you a specific feeling. And I love that. I love that you tied it back to feeling and to intuition.
Yeah,
Really
you taught
good.
me that. You taught me that.
I did.
Sure. I remember having that conversation where you say you need to tap into the essence of your client. And I was like, that is it's simple, but that's exactly it. That's
Cool.
what people, that's what you want to convey.
Love that. So you are in a leadership role. I mean, you've been kind of acting as the COO, second in command, over these last few years, leading Grow Your Center to growth. Talk a little bit about things that you've learned both as a marketer and a leader, and maybe as a female leader in your journey. What are some things that have been really powerful for your growth and success?
So I think for my personal growth and success, okay, I'm going to get to that, I guess, in a moment, but definitely as a marketer, I feel like there is an art to marketing. So again, it is a business of trust. Trust is built it's built on fact, right? But it's also, and reputation and what have you, but it's also built on feeling. So again, the feeling-based messaging, definitely as a marketer. Another thing, is, it's going to sound so funny, but I'm going to tell you.
Okay.
But the client is not always right. We are advocates really for our clients' best interests and what's in their best interest and how to market them. And so it can lead to a lot of interesting discussion with people. And I love that part. I love that part as well, because it can be an eye opener for a lot of people to say, oh, wow, I never thought of it that way.
Yeah.
I never thought that would be an asset, or I never thought I could spin that into being in with a marketing angle. So that's been really cool for my own growth, for my own success. I mean, Kris, you know me, and I am just so systems driven.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
She is the process queen, systems queen, and even continues to elevate. Like, what's going on over at GYC is like, woo, look at her go.
I'm the systems queen. I love it. I love taking everything intangible and breaking it down into day-to-day application. So that's really I think what I
Which
do well.
is really different than potentially it's creative work, but applying it to more of a left brain part of you. So I think it's really cool because you have this complete creative artsy side and
Mhm.
design and, but you also have the systemization piece, and that's,
Yeah.
and those building blocks, which I feel is definitely more left brain work versus right brain. So you definitely, I think, bring both um, sides of your brain, both sides of creativity to play. But people wouldn't really think of systems as being creative work, but I
Yeah.
think, yeah,
That's so funny you say that. Firstly, thank you for the compliments because I'm a
you're
total sucker
welcome.
for compliments.
Who isn't?
I know. You keep going
That's
if you
cute. That's cute.
but like what is design? Design ultimately it's a pattern. A pattern is a system.
Yeah.
Like what is simple? Simple is figuring out, maybe the least amount of steps or the least amount of lines, right? So yeah, I guess it's
Right.
debatable. That part's debatable, but I hear what you're saying. I do
Yeah.
hear what you're saying.
Well, I
Yeah.
think that you're passionate about efficiency. And so you get
Sure.
excited
Sure.
about
That's true.
trying, to make the company more efficient and more
Yeah.
a well-oiled machine. And so that,
Yeah,
that drives you.
100%.
Yeah,
A
it's good.
100%.
It's really, really good. Well, we are unbelievably out of time. I can't believe it. So let me ask you a final question.
Sure.
Um, with regard to influences and inspiration, what are you reading, watching, listening to right now? What are you loving right
Oh,
now that's kind of driving you?
thank you so much for asking this because I wanted to say Paw Patrol because that's really well that I'm watching with my son. But I've got two books that I absolutely love. So if you haven't picked this up yet, The 5 Second Rule by Mel Robbins, amazing. Have you heard of it, Kris?
I have heard of it. I
You have heard of
I
it?
watched was it, I don't think it was, I think it might have been a TED Talk. Did she do a TED Talk on the five
She did do it.
second?
Yeah, she did.
Yeah,
She
I've,
did do it.
I've seen
And it's
that.
funny, you just mentioned like the queen of efficiency. And it's like
Yeah.
basically how to be efficient when you're down and out, when you can't can the negative talk. So,
Yeah.
or the negative self talk, I should say. So,
Yeah.
this
Well,
is definitely an efficiency book for those of you who are a bit obsessed. And then on the more creative side, I really love right now, I just got it, but it's The Life You Were Born to Live, Dan Millman. It's actually a numerology book, but it breaks down life purpose and it's surprisingly uncanny. So the 5 second
cool.
rule for anything practical. And then if you want something a little bit more esoteric, I would go The Life You Were Born to Live.
Love it. I'm going to get both of those.
So good.
So cool. Um, Wonderful. Well, how can people learn more about you, Isobel, and or find you if they want to learn more about working with you and or grow your center?
Yeah, growyourcenter.com. Definitely check us out, see what services we offer. You can reach me at Isobel at growyourcenter.com as well. So my first name, Isobel at growyourcenter.com. Definitely check out the services we offer and the rebrand, the recruitment. I love that you mentioned the recruitment piece because that's hot right now. We are
Yeah.
doing that for clients. We are actually, I just have to tell you this. I know we have to go.
Yeah.
We were actually handcrafting all the copy for job descriptions to pull in better recruits.
Wow.
Right. So I think that's huge.
Yeah. So
Yep.
the job description then flows to the job ad.
Yep.
And so that copy that is in your Indeed ads is
Stellar.
everything. And I've been
Yep.
helping people recraft that for several years with examples inside the academy. But for you guys to do it for them or help them do it with them is amazing. So I love that.
Oh yeah. We get the information and we completely recraft it. So it's so sparkly and fresh.
That's a
So
huge game changer. So many game changers going on over at Grow
no,
Your
there's
Center.
too many to keep up with. But yes, it's true. There are.
Well, I am excited for you to have a little break, hopefully, with your new baby girl and just take a little rest from the world of work and dive into motherhood and just enjoy it. And we were going to miss the heck out of you while you're gone, but I'm just wishing all the best for you. And I want to thank you for being so real and transparent today on this podcast. Seriously, you have. I mean, you really dove into a lot of amazing, juicy stuff that you shared with us. And I thought our conversation was very powerful and fun. So I want to thank you for that.
Well, you're powerful and fun, so it's hard not to reflect that around you, Kris. It's been my absolute pleasure. I love chatting with you. I really hope to meet more of our clients soon too. When we can travel and get together, I want to come by.
Yes, we got to hang out together in 2019 at the Buckhead Weston at our meeting, our academy meeting there. And that was so much fun. And no, 2020, it was 2020 and it was right before the pandemic. It was literally a month and a half before we all went into lockdown.
Hey, wow.
So it's been almost 2 years since we've gotten to see each other. And I'm very, very sad about that. So I just hope that 2022 will allow us to all get together and be together more, because especially with Canada being a lockdown from the US and all of that, it's been really tough. I've been missing seeing you and seeing everybody. So
same.
Good. Well, thank you so much. Again, this has been an incredible episode here at Childcare Rockstar Radio featuring Isobel Wheatcroft, branding maven extraordinaire at Grow Your Center.
Stylist. We're going to
brand stylist.
Thank you, Kris. Thank you so much.
Thanks everybody for tuning in. And I know that you learned a ton with us today. I'm sure lots of writer downers. So thanks so much. And we'll see you all next time. Take care and God bless.
Bye.
Bye.